And by the way, to pass that, it only requires a simple majority. City of Oakland Measure W. Now this one requires, because it's a special parcel tax on vacant properties, and it will require 2/3, that's 66.67% of vote for passage. This is most of your propositions only takes a majority with a few exceptions. But these, I'm mentioning that because they're all very different depending on the monies involved, especially when it comes to parcel tax. Now, what this is, it's focusing on a special parcel tax on vacant properties. And what it is, they want to enact a measure to fund homeless services and resources to address illegal dumping and discourage vacant properties by enacting a vacant property tax on parcels used less than 50 days per year. And I'll give you the breakdown for it. And they have put in with complete community oversight and exemptions for very low-income seniors, and hardships. They want you to adopt it. According to Alameda County data, Oakland currently has 4,403 vacant parcels that are undeveloped and or occupied by any legal use. Many of these are in blight areas in which they're located, and they present significant health and safety hazards and are sites of illegal dumping. So, looking at this, the city has said we lack sufficient housing generally and affordable housing in particular. This contributes to an increase in homelessness as well as displacement of residents. So we're taking steps, and they figure that since they don't have the sufficient resources to meet the increasing demands for services to combat blight as well as illegal dumping, they're going to put a special parcel tax. It's not all the way over it. What it is that this would be, again, it's a special property tax imposed on very specific properties. Residential, remember they have to be at least used less than 50 days per year. The annual rate would be for residential, is unused, would be $6,000 per parcel. For a condominium, duplex, or townhouse unit under separate ownership is not used, that's $3,000 per vacant residential unit. The tax for non-residential would be $6,000 per parcel. Parcel with a ground floor commercial activity allowed but vacant would be $3,000 per parcel. Anything undeveloped would be $6,000 per parcel. And these are maximum tax rates. There's no inflation factor on it. The council may reduce but not increase these rates that you're voting on. And the tax will be levied for 20 years. Again, remember that you're not citywide, and it says in this that the city council may, by ordinance, establish zones or areas within the city and may restrict the levy of tax to properties within the zone or areas that are going to fulfill this issue of unoccupied and blight. There's a number of exemptions on it, most dealing with sorts of provable hardship, and nonprofit entities are also exempt. They're going to put the money in a special fund, and it may be used only to provide services and programs to homeless people, to reduce homelessness, and to support the protection of existing and production of new housing affordable to lower income households as an affordable housing cost, unquote. Removed from the tax, revenues from the tax may not be used to supplement supplant city funds already budgeted for illegal dumping remediation. Very, very specific down there. They tax it's expected to raise about $10 million per year, and they figure at least 25% of the funds were going to be code enforcement and clean up of blighted vacant properties, as well as blight elimination and illegal dumping. Here's what supporters are saying. This special tax provides a dedicated source of revenue to be used for housing and other homeless service and programs with minimal impact on the general purpose fund. The tax will maintain neighborhoods free from vacant and abandoned properties that could become public nuisances that affect health, safety, and the environment. The tax will encourage property owners to improve their properties and or make them available to those seeking homes. Opponents say Oakland needs a comprehensive plan to address homelessness and affordable housing. This is just one piece of a piecemeal approach. Oakland already has strict laws to force owners of blighted properties. That's what opponents are saying about this. This is the graduated measure X, the graduated transfer tax. It is, shall the measure graduating be? Right now, we all pay a current flat rate of 1.5% when our real estate changes ownership. That's the status. What this wants to do, this particular measure, would like to say that they're going to replace this current flat rate with a graduated tax. The levels of taxation would be 300,000 properties that are valued at 300,000 or less would be 1%. Those that are more than 300,000 to 2 million, they'll be 1.5. Those places that are more than 2 million to 5 million, they'll be 1.7%. That will be the graduated tax. More than 5 million will be 2.5%. The proposal also doubles the current rate reduction for low and moderate income first-time home buyers for transfer. So it really gives them even a better rate. That allows for, they give a tax exemption for 1/3 of the transfer tax for those who are doing seismic retrofit or solar installation expenses incurred by low and moderate income buyers. And finally, it exempts nonprofit providers of affordable housing from the graduated rate, instead keeping their rate at the existing 1.5%. So, the Oakland City Administrator and Finance Department concluded that if they put these in effect, they could generate about $55 million more than what was actually collected. An average increase in Oakland's general fund is more than $9 million per year. So, and then there's more to that, just to give you an idea. Obviously, supporters say this would be a significant revenue, would go to Oakland's general fund, and a progressive graduated tax would increase the rate of taxation as the value of transferred property increases. It's fairer than an existing flat rate. Opponents say the tax will increase costs for housing and rent. The city cannot be trusted to use its funds wisely. Measure Y, that's just cause for eviction. They want to, this particular measure is about amending Oakland's just yes cause for eviction ordinance. They would want, this is the one where they want to remove the exemption of owner-occupied duplexes and triplexes, and to allow the city council, without returning to the voters, add limitations on the landlord's right to evict to the ordinance. We know that we're experiencing, this is the background, housing availability and affordability, and what this is all about for Oakland, measures that will ensure the ability of people of all economic levels to sustain residency. They figured that renters occupy about 60% of occupied housing in Oakland. Renters of owner-occupied duplexes and triplexes do not have the same protections from eviction that renters and their properties enjoy. This is where this is coming from. This measure could offer additional protection to thousands of renters who currently might face no-cause eviction. Right now, you realize owners who occupy residential or duplexes or triplexes are exempted from the requirement to show just cause for evictions to their tenants in the units that are not owner-occupied. This measure would eliminate that exemption. The measure would also empower the City Council to add limitations on landlords' right to evict without the Council needing to return to the voters for authorization to do that. Supporters say thousands of renters in owner-occupied duplexes or triplexes would be protected from no-cause eviction and given equal defenses to evictions as renters in other properties now enjoy. This would counter abuses of the current system in which landlords claim false residency in duplexes and triplexes in order to evict existing tenants and re-rent the property for higher rates. This is the big complaint, the big issue. Opponents say owner-occupied duplexes and triplexes place owners and renters in close proximity, and that difference warrants more flexibility for the owner and landlord. The measure may prompt owners to take the units off the market rather than comply with new restrictions for evictions, thus reducing housing stock and adversely affecting the availability and stability of housing. Those are the two important. This one is causing a lot of discussion, and it's all about hotel workers' wages and conditions. Measure Z. Measure Z shall, the measure, and it's going to amend the municipal code, establish workplace protection and a minimum hourly wage of $15 with benefits or $20 without benefits, increasing annually with inflation for employees of Oakland hotels with 50 or more guest rooms. And it shall also authorize administrative enforcement of Oakland's employment standards for hotel and non-hotel workers. It will create a city department to administratively enforce Oakland's employment standards for hotel and non-hotel workers, and that's what it is. We know that our 2014, we had Measure FF that established the minimum wage of $12.25 for all employees working 2 hours a week or more in the city of Oakland. That's where it is. The wage increases, and I think there's been a lot of different lawsuits because of hotels. Hotel employees who work by themselves are vulnerable to crimes and other threatening behavior, including sexual assault. Many instances of sexual assault go reported to the police. Hotel employees who clean guest rooms are frequently assigned overly burdensome room cleaning quotas and expect overtime. That's the condition. That's what they're talking about. Now, Measure Z is going to give a higher minimum wage for employees of hotels with 50 guest rooms or more, and then we mentioned that. It's going to create a Department of Workplace and Employment Standards, and it spells how they're going to figure out how they investigate complaints about working conditions and impose penalties. So this is what Measure Z does. Supporters say workers should be able to perform their duties free of danger, intimidation, or reprisals. Higher wages and better working conditions help ensure a skilled, stable workforce and provide workers the wherewithal to live in Oakland. The city needs to strengthen its abilities to enforce its laws on minimum wage and worker protection. Again, it's focused strictly on hotel workers. Opponents say employers will incur excessive costs to comply with wages and standards required by Measure Z. Federal and state, local provide sufficient ways for workers to seek redress for workplace misconduct. A new city administrative entity is unnecessary. Measure Z does nothing to help workers in small hotels who often face the poorest working conditions. It's one of those. Depends on where you would like to go with it. Measure AA is the Oakland Children's Initiative, and this is one. And I'm looking at the time. Is it okay if we go a few more minutes longer? We're almost there. Almost. And believe it or not, I'm shortening these things tremendously, but I'm trying to give you as much information so that you can make your informed decision. Children's Initiative, and what this is it is because it's a charter amendment as well as a parcel tax, it will require 2/3 vote, 66.67%. And what it says, shall the measure amend Oakland's charter for the purpose of funding services to expand access to early childhood and preschool education. That's one piece. Shall it improve high school and college graduation and career readiness, provide mentoring and college financial assistance by establishing a $198 per year parcel tax over 30 years for single-family parcels and specified rates for other parcel tax, raising approximately $25 million and $30 million annually. It will have a citizen's oversight and exemptions for low-income households and others for this parcel tax. It is helpful to know that if you understand the issues of the education and where the gaps and issues are, the child care and early education services that are partially and fully funded by the government are provided by nonprofit and public agencies. And the need for affordable services by low and middle income families far exceeds our supply. Most child care workers are poorly paid and struggle to earn decent living. So those who are employed at OUSD, Oakland Unified School District, and nonprofit centers and family care assistants, they're covered by Oakland's minimum wage laws. Low wages lead to high turnover. So they're trying to figure out ways to improve that and provide better child care on one element of it. That's why, and you'll notice in 2015, Mayor Libby Schaaf and others established the Oakland Promise, and that's a privately funded effort to provide support for all Oakland children. This proposal wants to be able to take that and expand that, and they want to include components that focus on the early stage of children's development, and they want to fund it through this parcel tax. And it may be increased annually by the San Francisco Bay Area cost per living increase. The measure will provide provisions outlining the amount of taxes to be collected for different kinds of property. And that the proceeds of the tax may only be used for purposes of the measure and shall be apportioned to funds established in the measure as follows. 7% will go to the Oakland Children's Initiative Oversight, Accountability, and Evaluation Fund. 62% will go to the Oakland Early Education Fund, and 31% to the Oakland Promise Fund. That's where you are. It'll create a commission, a Children's Initiative Oversight Commission, which has substantive responsibilities for the use of these parcel tax funds, including implementation. They're going to have partners for Oakland's Early Education Fund and the Oakland Promise Fund. They're going to review of audits and performance appraisal and approval of 5-year guidelines for these funds after the first 5 years, and so it goes. There's more on this. It is worth it to look at it and to really do it. What we are, there's a lot of guidelines put in here. Supporters say early education and quality care are essential to children's healthy development. The city should do everything it can to help its young people get the early start they need. Oakland students and their families need both encouragement and financial support so that more can reach and complete college. This is a whole series of programs for this. Measure A demonstrates the city's commitment to children in the future. That's what supporters say. Opponents say the majority of Oakland residents say they most want to see the city give priority for public funds to address housing affordability, homelessness, illegal dumping, public safety, and quality of life for everyone. Remember, they're responding to the fact that this is a parcel tax. Taxpayers want to see more results and accountability for parcel taxes and other measures already approved before approving another one, especially since the $198 will likely double in the 30 years the tax is in effect. It is unclear how monies in the Oakland Promise Fund will be spent. So you can see there's some real on both sides for you. It will, that one is two-thirds. It will take a two-thirds vote to pass that again because it's not only a charter amendment, but it's a parcel tax. You have 2 bonds for Peralta College. Interesting. They're competing. You have the first one that is District Measure E. It's called Peralta College's Education Renewal Act. We already have a particular, we approved a $48 parcel tax to fund academic programs in Peralta Community Colleges. It will expire June 30th, 2020. This is to say, let's renew it. Let's go for it because we want to continue to support the colleges of Alameda, Berkeley, Laney, and Merritt. and because they need lots of money to have affordable college education, including core academic programs to prepare students for university transfer, providing tutoring and teacher support, and so they would like to continue to levy the $48 per parcel annually for 8 years, including $8 million annually, providing $8 million annually with internal and citizens oversight, no funds for administrative salary and benefit. Here's the dilemma with this one. It's not increasing, but you have, it will, according to supporters, protect affordable higher education and job preparation without raising taxes. Money cannot be spent on administrative salaries, and they must augment current expenditures. A lot of opponents, and what the opponents are saying, since 2015 parcel tax dollars have been misused, and academic expenditures have been reduced. So there is a lot of, they're criticizing the oversight and how it's been done. More transparent financial procedures and reporting should be implemented before a new tax measure is approved. In fact, many have said we need to send this one back. We need to, demonstrate some things. So that's their back and forth. Now, the other one, for Measure G, which is Peralta College's upgrade measure, and this one, now to do that renewal, you would need 2/3, but this one is because it's an upgrade measure, it's a new one, it would require 55% vote for passage. And you know that we voted on this a few propositions ago about education. We'd no longer need 2/3. When you were looking for education monies, you would need only 55%. In case you forgot, we voted on that a few cycles ago. What this one is trying to do is that it will upgrade aging classrooms, technology, science labs, expand job training classrooms, and acquire, construct, repair sites, facilities. And this is for the Peralta Community College District, same colleges. They want to issue $800 million in bonds at legal interest rates with approximately $44.2 million in taxes raised annually over 40 years. So they're going to, the tax rates of, let's see, how is it going to go with you? It will be, tax rates are $24.50 per 100,000 of a property's assessed value. So that's how they're going to raise it for you. They're going to do that. The cost for $800 million in bonds will be raised over a 40-year period. So this is kind of, they're authorizing, it's not so much increasing your taxes as much as they're issuing a series of bonds to fund the capital expenditures. That's what this is about. It's going to come from a variety of places, but that's where it is. Bond proceeds will be placed in special funds to be only used for the projects and ballot measure. According to this, they have a very, very substantive oversight committee with specified qualifications to avoid conflicts of interest. And they're going to conduct independent performance and financial audits to ensure appropriate use of funds. And they all have a list of projects. So that's this one. It's going to really, the tax rate will be, because they're going to up the tax rate per $100,000 assessed valuation, $24.50 for 100,000. So you add it up depending on how much your property is.
Oh, it's a property.
It's a property.
Yeah.
Not a bond. It's not a bond?
It is a bond. They're using it to pay it back.
I think we're paying it back.
That's how they're going to get the money to pay it back, the bond. There's some really good analysis of it. Take a look at some of the places that I've given you some good, if you want to look at it and see and get to the bottom.